Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at gcnlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Watch the greenbacks tumble.
I'm just trying to time how long it takes from the time I put Bliss on till the time I taste it. I think it's about 2 minutes. Everyone all set, cocked, locked, blissed? Here we go. Your dial's set correctly to USAPrepares.com. We're delighted you're here. We're broadcasting 2 hours from the Missouri Ozark Mountains, and Dr. Norman Shealy's with us. Welcome, Dr. Shealy.
Hey, great to be with you. Sorry I couldn't be last week.
Well, you had an event. You were hosting a huge event. Can you tell us about that?
Well, this was my clinical applications of energy medicine. It's the 5-day, all-day program for those who want to learn everything that I consider proven in energy medicine, which is a lot of things. And by the way, Vince, thanks to you and Lou, I am so excited about his new PIMF device. You know? I know PIMF sounds funny. It's not PIMP, P-I-M-P, it's P-E-M-F.
I know, but you told me your reaction to this thing, and I'm trying to figure out how we can describe this on the air and still stay on the air.
Well, I wasn't even talking about that part that we can't discuss. But I had an idea after playing with that for a couple of days.
Uh-huh.
You know, I've actually done some work with pulsed electromagnetic field therapy for the last 3 years. And we got an excellent result in improving diabetic neuropathy. I have an intuitive hit that if we use his device 1 hour a day, possibly twice a week for 8 weeks, plus putting crushed sapphire crystal over the heart while it's being done, that we will reverse coronary artery disease. How about those onions?
Wow. Well, I know that when I came over to see you at the Get Prepared Expo, you were experimenting with this electronic device with this antenna, if you will. It was
Exactly.
a loop antenna, and probably around 12, 13 inches in diameter, maybe 14. And you could literally experience the results that from this pulsed electromagnetic field. And I think that's fascinating. So did Lou make this device? It looked like it was a handmade coil.
Extremely well done, however. Yes, handmade.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the output of it is better than the $19,000 one I bought for the clinic recently.
Yeah. Okay, so this device pulses an electromagnetic wavelength through this round coil, and I experimented with these kinds of things, not exactly like this, but loops of wire as coils many years ago, actually decades ago, when I was maybe an early teenager. And you take magnet wire and make a loop out of it, and then keep it together with electrical tape. That's what I did. And this was a vast improvement upon that. So you think that you can reverse coronary artery disease with this pulsed electromagnetic field?
Right. And the simple thing is I will do the treatment only on people who have calcification in the carotid artery, because the test for that is so simple. It takes 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
It's a CAT scan of the heart.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've got calcium deposits in the arteries of your heart, you're, a big candidate for coronary, problems.
Yeah.
And so the outcome would be, can we dissolve the calcium in the arteries of your heart using this particular PIMP device?
I was thinking about this. So, Dr. Shealy, a candidate for this trial would be someone who is in serious trouble, right?
Well, possibly serious trouble, but they may not know it.
Mm-hmm.
You often don't get symptoms until you've already collapsed or blocked off one big artery.
Mm-hmm.
So I might start with people who are known to have problems with diabetes. For instance, those patients that I've already worked with the peripheral neuropathy, where the feet are numb and painful, would be excellent candidates because 99% of them will have calcium in their arteries.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, how will you select the candidates for this trial? Are you going to use your radio show? Do you want to come to the meetup? Do you want to do it on the air? For those who are in the community.
I've got 30 people that I've already worked with over a year ago. I haven't seen most of them since then, but they all have diabetes, and only one or two of them followed all my advice, like give up weight, lose weight.
Yeah.
And so I think I'm going to at least start and just order, with their agreement, of course, if they're interested, a cardiac test. This is the only test you really need to know whether you've got coronary artery disease. You don't need a cardiac scan or an angiogram or any of those more risky and very expensive tests. That Merciless charges only $99.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interestingly, Cox charges $400 in the same town. Same test.
Mm-hmm.
But so I'm inclined to start with 10 of them, and I give you 10. Out of the 30 people, I'll bet I get 10 easily.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you want our help finding some, let me know, and we'll be glad to put out the word.
Oh, right, yeah. I want to get it approved by an IRB board first because that makes it publishable. If you haven't done an IRB, it's hard to publish.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, just for a moment, assume I'm right, and I'll give you odds that I am. The cardiologists and the cardiac surgeons are not going to like me.
Oh man, do you think they might get together and take?
They might take a contract. Yes.
Yeah, well, yeah, that and publish your obituary, as has been done before.
Yep. Second obituary is still going.
Yeah. Yeah, and what happened to Dr. Shealy decades ago was not everybody liked what he was working on and his morals and ethics. So his obituary was published in a Boston paper, right? That's
right, Boston Globe.
Yeah, they picked a pretty big one.
1960. Yep. So here I am, 55 years later.
Hey, I'll bet you've outlived the guys who published your obituary.
Almost certainly. Oh yeah, I know that the guy responsible for it's long gone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, Dr. Shealy, I wanted to ask you about the expo. We haven't had a chance to talk about it at all. I was wondering, what did you find? A lot of people came up to you and asked you for advice and counsel, and you checked their blood pressure. Well, overall, without being specific, we don't want to name any individuals, but you saw a lot of guests. You probably saw a bunch of instructors and exhibitors. What did you find anything unusual?
Well, no, we found something usual. That is, 70% of people who had high blood pressure had their blood pressure go down to normal when I gave them Nitro Extreme, Kyani Nitro Extreme.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, did you see the thing I sent out Monday about the new report? It's actually from the Philippines, where a man who had, I don't remember, 85% occlusion of the carotid artery, taking the Kyani triad, the sunrise, the Nitro Extreme, and the sunset, within 2.5 months, it went down to 40% occlusion. That's a remarkable improvement.
Without surgery?
Without surgery. In fact, they canceled the proposed surgery at that time because of the improvement with the Kyani triad.
And Dr. Shealy's talking about Kyani Sunrise, which is a liquid vitamin mineral supplement. The Sunset, which would be these gelatin capsules that we take 3 at night, and the Nitro Extreme, which I actually take 3 times a day. It's a liquid, and my mom takes it, Mrs. Finelli takes it. We all take it, and I think it gives us more energy, more endurance, more everything. And that was one. And if you're interested, you can go to our website and you learn more about it, and we can sign you up and get you on that program. But that was something that I wanted to talk to you about. Why is it that mainstream doctors are saying that supplements are useless? I mean, literally, there are post after post after post on the internet that's saying that supplements are useless, and including the guy that I used to see. I haven't seen him in years. At Merciless Hospital in Springfield. I guess he would be my doctor of record. But for annual checkups, I haven't seen him in a couple of years. No need to. He even thinks that I get everything that I need out of whatever I'm eating. But I guess he doesn't realize that I'm on supplements. But he says, you don't need to eat supplements. It's all in your food, everything you need. He
is ignorant and stupid, period, in the report. Yeah. He does not read the literature.
Yeah, I'm sure he's listening.
I mean, I am amazed that anyone could be that unbelievably stupid. Actually, in the late 70s, Emanuel Shuraskin, a dentist who also had an MD at the University of Alabama, did studies showing the optimal level of all kinds of things, from vitamin C to protein, B vitamins, etc. Mm-hmm. And all of them were higher than the so-called recommended daily intake.
Yeah. Dr. Shealy and I will be right back. Dr. Shealy is a medical doctor, surgeon of the year, brain surgeon, neurosurgeon, author, broadcaster, farmer, Native American medicine man, and my friend. We'll be right back. Dr. Shealy, there's a post on our website, usaprepares.com, and it's about this white South Carolina cop who shot an unarmed black man 5 times in the back. And he only shot him 5 times because he missed 3. He fired 8 times. 5 strikes in the back. And this cop was chasing this black man, a 50-year-old black man who was running away from the cop. And the cop, the video shows that the cop was about 30 feet away. And he just draws his handgun and just fires away right into the back of this man, this father, a 50-year-old man. And what I don't understand is what is going on. No matter what this, and I don't know how to refer to him. There's a white cop and a black man. What this black man could have done that would justify getting shot in the back by a cop. Now, the cop has been charged with murder. Now, I would hope that, an eye for an eye is necessary at this point because these cops are absolutely out of control. There's no reason to do this. And then the cop planted evidence as if this black man had done something. Planted evidence, handcuffed him after he shot him 8 times. The man lay face down, and then the cop handcuffs him. And then plants evidence and then alleges that he was in fear of his life. So this is like the catcher in a baseball game, after school baseball game. It's like the catcher watching the batter hit the ball and run toward first base, and then saying, "I was in fear of my life," as the batter runs toward first base. I mean, that's what this scenario is like. Dr. Shealy, I guess my question is, what is going on with this absolute out of control abuse? What makes people want to kill for no reason whatsoever? What is there a medical condition?
Insanity. I mean, this is psychotic behavior, in my opinion. And psychopaths have no conscience. They just don't. They murder and don't have any guilt over it at all.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, the definition of a psychopath is someone who will murder, rape, or seriously harm you without reason and without any conscience at all. No guilt. That is true psychopathic behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of politicians.
Yeah. Now, this cop didn't just fire a warning shot, into the ground. No, he was in a stance trying his best to kill this man. Now, it would have been reported by the police that this cop, did the right thing. He protected himself. But however, there was a video. Someone took a video of this, and here it says, one person says the cop's name was Slager. The way that Slager was shooting that gun, it looked like he was trying to kill a deer. He doesn't know whether it was racial or was something wrong with his head. That's a quote in this. That's the African American victim's father saying that. I got to tell you, if that happened in my family, I don't think I would ever forget it. And I don't mean just forget it. I mean whatever comes along with not forgetting it. This is out of control behavior, and I understand why people run from the cops. When you see a guy in the blue plague coming your way, nothing good is going to happen from that. Nothing good is going to happen from the blue plague, and that's my opinion. So I'm even Dr. Shealy. This is unbelievable what I'm going to say next. I'm even concerned about meetups in Springfield, Missouri. I'm afraid that one of us is going to get stopped by the blue plague, or in the new color uniforms. I guess that would be, the uniformed black plague. The cops that wear black uniforms. These guys, too many of them are out of control. Like what happened with Bob Eastep being tased in his vehicle, and then facing charges. By the cops. They beat him up, and then he gets charged. Steve Angle gets beat up in his own home by a couple thug cops in Hays, Kansas. And then he gets charged, and he's facing prison time for these cops that show up at his door at 12:30 at night and demand to come into his house. And they beat him up in the threshold of his door, and then he's facing charges. Assault on 2 police officers with a deadly weapon. They put a gun in his face. What about that assault? This is out of control. When we come back, I've got some more questions for Dr. Shealy. Dr. Norman Shealy is with us, medical doctor. And if you'd like to go to his website and get the free newsletter, the same one that I get multiple times per week, the same newsletter that we talk about here on usaprepares.com, you can. Just go to normshealy.com, normshealy.com, normshealy.com. And you can sign up for the newsletter, and he's got great advice and counsel right there on the website. And you can click and just read through, and you'll get great medical advice absolutely for free. And Dr. Shealy does not sell that mailing list. It's his. And he uses it just for making sure that you get the emails. So I suggest you consider that, the same one that I get. Dr. Shealy, I have a post on the website. And on April 5th, there was a post that we have a link to. And it says, this cop can't remember climbing on a hood and firing at least 15 shots of a 137 bullet barrage that killed an unarmed couple. So this cop climbs on the hood of this couple's vehicle. They're unarmed. The footprints are there. He climbed on the hood of this vehicle and fired right through the windshield and executed the couple in the car. Timothy Russell was executed, and Melissa Williams. Timothy Russell was 43. Melissa Williams was 30. And so this cop jumped on the hood of their Chevy Malibu and just blasted away into it. Now, and he claims that he can't remember climbing on the hood and firing the last 15 shots that executed this unarmed couple. Is that possible that could happen, where a person could not remember something like that? I mean, such a heinous crime. Yeah,
it is possible. On the other hand, statistically speaking, I'd say he's lying, but,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's far more likely that he's lying than that he was so shocked by his own misbehavior that he was blocked. It doesn't matter, does it? He's guilty.
No. Mm-hmm. And you know what's very interesting about this, Dr. Shealy? I've been taking a little bit of heat, just a little bit. Less heat all the time for my stance on the blue plague. And I see so many abuses by those in uniform. I'm talking about the blue plague that, I speak out about it. And I see what happens. Bob Eastep was tased in Sparta, Missouri by a young cop, tased. And what happened was the city of Sparta rallied around the cop, to his defense. And they rallied around, and they won't discuss it, and they won't release information. And they've circled the wagons. And then you see these other instances on the internet where the same kind of thing happened. Well, I saw it firsthand, absolutely firsthand at the Get Prepared Expo. And what happened was a young cop came into the expo, and I explained to him that we were consecrating. This was on Friday, early Friday, setup day. And I explained to these two young cops, I said, "Hey, how's it going?" I said, "I just want you guys to know that we're consecrating this ground as sacred Native American ground, and you will not be able to be on the property in uniform after 6 o'clock tonight." And they looked at me like, "What?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Now, if you want to come back off duty, not in uniform, you're welcome to come back. But after 6 o'clock tonight, you will not be welcome on the property at the Cowan Civic Center in uniform." And one of the young cops took such offense to this that he went right to the city manager. And what happened next was the city decided they were going to show us who's boss. They sent teams of cops every day, Saturday and Sunday. And they sent the fire truck. They sent they have a black fire truck that looks like a SWAT vehicle. And I have to post that on the website so you all get a chance to see what I'm talking about. They've got this black fire truck that really doesn't look like a fire truck. It's literally black, and it says Lebanon on the side in gold letters. But it's like 95% black. It literally looks like a SWAT vehicle. And what they did was they took that thing out of the building where it's housed, and they came in with lights and sirens and horns to the expo, and they chased our guests away. And so tomorrow I have a meeting with the mayor. I asked for a meeting with the mayor last week, and the city manager decided, and the police chief, and the fire chief, and the manager of the Cowan Civic Center. I asked for a meeting with all involved. And the city manager, when we got there, it was just the manager of the Cowan Civic Center, and it was the city manager. The mayor was told not to come to the meeting. The police chief was told, well, he reports to the city manager, so he's not coming. And the fire chief was told by the city manager not to come. So what I saw was a circling of the wagons and an abuse of authority by the police. So we're the tenant, Dr. Shealy. We're the tenant of this Get Prepared Expo. We rent the facility, and they tell us what they're going to do. And they're willing to chase away our customers that we pay for the facility. Okay, makes me crazy. So I see this over and over. And when I go to Springfield, I've been to events where I just show up, pay my $10 to go to an event, and the cops show up. 4 cops at a time. 3 in front of me, 1 behind me. The guy's behind me in case the first three miss. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I see, and that's why I speak out against these cops. And I just wanted to let you know that that's what happened. So if you're wondering where everybody went on Sunday, the cops came and chased them away.
I certainly noticed the decrease on Sunday.
That's what happened. The cops came. I mean, literally, Dr. Shealy, they came with this black truck. It looked, who would go? Let's say they just went to a mall, okay? Let's say there was one entrance to the mall, and a fire truck was there, and then another fire truck came in with lights and sirens and horns. Let's say you're passing by and you're ready to pull into the parking lot. You go, oh, man, looks like there's a fire. I guess we'll come back to the mall later, right? Or another time. That's what happened. And people who were in left. There were 3 doctors from Georgia who came to the expo, and they left because of the police presence. They were terrified. So now I'm thinking, there's no way that we can have an expo in Lebanon. There's no way we can have an expo in Springfield. I mean, in Springfield, what the expo hall did to us in Springfield was they called the cops on us too. They called the cops.
Hey, Vince,
and,
what about Branson?
Well, we have to find a place that is customer friendly. And what I'm finding, and here's what happened. In Springfield, I went for the first expo. I went to see what I needed to do with the city. Okay, and so I went to the city unannounced, and I said, "Hi, I'm Vince Finelli. I'd like to talk to you about this expo we're having at the downtown expo center." And they said, "Come on in," and they introduced me to this gal who's in charge of licenses. Do you know what? She had on her screen, on her PC, in her office, the information already. She was ready to contact me, and she knew who all the exhibitors were, and she was going to charge each one of them a fee for the license for the city of Springfield. So if you think about it, the license of Springfield licenses to be an exhibitor at any expo, not just ours, any expo, is over the top. And then they charge 29% tax. 29%. So you rent the hall, and then there's a 29% tax on top of that to expand the city's, I don't know what you even call it. It's money that they steal from us in a tax to expand development of the city. That's what they do. It's out of control. So who wants to spend 29% tax to have an event? Who wants to have these licenses being demanded of their exhibitors? You know, you'll pay the license or you will get the full wrath of the city. And then if you want to make peace, all you have to do is hire the cops for your security. So you have to pay them. And how do you find the cops, these off-duty cops? Well, that's easy. You don't just call them. You just don't call a couple cops you know and say, hey, listen, if you're not working on Saturday and Sunday, we'd like to hire you for the weekend and we'd like to pay you. And let's work out how much we're going to pay you. No, that's not how it works. You call the city of Springfield and you talk to this lieutenant who's in charge of renting out off-duty cops. And it's price fixed. It's $25 an hour. There is no negotiation. If you want them, it's $25 an hour. Now, if you hire them, you will have less intervention by the police. If you don't hire them, they kind of do what they did to us in Lebanon. It's out of control. So it's like the mafia. It is the mafia.
Well, let's face it, Ben. The mafia has served as a role model for the world. Government at all levels, a vast majority of corporations at all levels are now mafioso.
Oh, I absolutely believe it. I really do. And so, Dr. Shealy, medically speaking, is there something that these guys are missing? Are they programmed to be hostile, arrogant, abusive? What can we do to fix it? I mean, the only outcome that I can see at this point is at some point, some Vietnam veteran's Agent Orange is going to act up and the shooting's going to start. And targets are going to be these guys in blue and black uniforms. That's the only outcome that I can see because they're killing us one at a time. And at some point, some family's going to have had it and they're going to start firing. And it's going to be the families of the Blue Plague. It's going to be the Blue Plague, and they're all going to be treated the same. It's not like, well, it was just that guy. Anybody in uniform, I believe, is going to be a target. I can see it coming. Not that I want it to come, but I want them to stop. But they won't stop. They're getting worse. What can we do?
I don't know. You know, I have been predicting now for the last 6 years that I think there's a greater than 50-50 chance of a true revolution or civil war in this country. Mm-hmm. And to me, it really began largely with the election of Obama. I think that was the first sign that things are totally out of control.
Well, there's no disagreement that with Obama, things are totally out of control. And the lying is so evident. I mean, you if you can stomach it, to listen to what he says and compare it to what he does, they're diametrically opposed. Literally diametrically opposed. Well, when we come back, can we talk about lifestyle and aging? Dr. Norman Shealy is with us, and Dr. Shealy, we have Matthew from Texas. Matthew, welcome to USA Prepares.
Hi, Matthew. What's up?
Hey, Matthew.
Matthew's silent. A tall, silent type.
Matthew, can you hear us? Well, I'll tell you what. Let me put Matthew on hold. And Matthew there? Nope. Okay, Matthew just dropped off. Okay. He was going to talk about, looks like he was going to talk about farming. Okay. So, Dr. Shealy, lifestyle and aging. Now, when I was growing up in elementary school, I had friends who we all got together and did things together after school, and we spent a lot of time together. And over the course of our lives, some of us went to farming, and others, stayed in the cities and so forth. And some of us have jobs that, where we spent times in bars and smoky environments, and drank lots of beers. That would not be me, but others of us. And the question I have for you is, I have seen images on the internet of some of my friends whom I've grown up with, and I can see a difference in the rate of aging of us, meaning those who consume alcohol, are in smoky environments like bars, high-stress jobs, and live in cities. And it's absolutely crystal clear to me that I have not aged as fast as some who have that other lifestyle. The high-stress lifestyle, the smoky environment lifestyle, the consumption of alcohol lifestyle. Now, I don't want you to think I'm a teetotaler, because I'll have a beer now and then, but I don't go looking for it. I don't go, geez, I could use a beer, or I could use a shot of scotch or whiskey, or that doesn't happen with me. Even though we have it in the house for company, I don't think one of those bottles has been cracked in, 15 years. So, can you address lifestyle and aging? Is there a correlation that?
Oh, yes, unequivocally. The one that seems to actually affect the face looking older more than anything else is smoking. Mm-hmm. There's just no question about it. It affects the teeth, it affects the jaws, it affects the face, and, of course, the internal organs. Living in a city, on average, depending on the size of the city, like Milwaukee, it's a medium-sized city, I'd say. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Average life expectancy is 4 years less than people living in the farmland of Wisconsin. So there are many reasons for that, but it's just a fact. Now, if you live in New York City and you are a single man, which brings up other lifestyle things, average life expectancy is reduced 35 years.
Dr. Shealy, 35 years?
Yes.
Single man in New York City. Life expectancy, that's almost half.
Yes, and wow. It's just the way it is, But that involves a lot of other behavioral problems, AIDS and other such things, automobile accidents, this and smog. I mean, the air is more polluted. It is polluted enough everywhere in the world today, but in a city, it's polluted significantly more.
Well, that was one of the chief reasons why our family does not live in a city, because of the particulate air pollution. Matthew's online. He's called back from Texas. Matthew, hold that line, and we'll get to you right after the top of the hour news and commercial announcements. Matthew wants to talk about farming and farm business. At least that's what the screen says. So, Matthew, hold that spot. We'll be right back with Dr. Norman Shealy. And I've got a lot of other questions, like colonoscopy, probiotics, fibromyalgia, bruises, joint pain, nervous twitches, PTSD, bad memory, suicides, and shingles, and improving eyesight. Dr. Norman Shealy is with us, PhD, MD, Native American medicine man, brain surgeon, surgeon of the year. We'll be right back. Everyone all set, cocked, locked, blissed. Hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com with Dr. Norman Shealy, MD. Dr. Shealy, we have Matthew from Texas. He's still with us. Matthew from Texas, welcome.
How you guys doing? Doc, I love you.
I'm great. How about you?
Oh, couldn't be better. on the radio with you guys.
Okay, what can we do for you?
Okay. Well, we're going to start with this boys in blue plague thing. We got, I guess you could call me a racist, because I do think a proportion of our society is somewhat crazy, and talk to me about it. But there are things called psychopaths, like 1 to 4% of society, or you call them politicians, whatever. But they have no concern. They basically kill people, and they don't feel the same emotions we do. So that's what I would call racism. They feel like a different race to me. And if you walk up on a hood and shoot somebody 15 times, and you don't remember it, quote unquote, then you're probably some kind of psychopath. And, I mean, I'm thinking what we should do is bring back slavery for these guys. Instead of convicting them for murder and giving them let's let them work out the rest of their lives. Or maybe we just tar and feather them repeatedly or torture them. I mean, there's nothing worse than that in my mind. There's somebody who's supposed to protect you and then comes in and shoots you in the face through your windshield. That's, and then says they don't remember. Well, that seems like a plague to me.
Well, I don't think most people would argue with you at all, Matthew. I mean, it's just the way it is.
I don't think it's that. Is it a mental disorder? I mean, is it literally like? I mean, we have these things, psychopathic drugs, where people get these thoughts. Like, is there any way around that? I mean, besides drugs, which don't work.
Well, there are certainly psychopaths who don't take drugs. I mean,
that's the problem, I guess.
And but the drugs make it worse. And 90% of the time, the antidepressant drugs especially make it worse. So I don't think drugs can ever be the answer to this kind of problem. It has to be training. It has to come from the top down. If the, the governor, the mayor, the police chief, etc., don't insist upon common sense, decency, it's not going to happen. I mean, Sparta's a perfect example of that. The fact that the town supported the misbehavior of the cops there is a crime itself.
Yeah, most days I sit back and wonder why everybody's not marching through the streets with pitchforks and crazy.
Well, Matthew, several years ago, there were 2 van loads, very large vans that were rented from one of the rental companies that would hold like 15 people. We went to Jefferson City, the capital of Missouri. And one of the guys actually, literally, I'm not kidding, brought a pitchfork with him. And we went to the state capitol. And we met with the state representatives and walked around with a pitchfork. And they really got the message. However, they don't have long-term memories.
Right. They get paid a few dollars and forget everything, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But you had a question about farming, didn't you?
Yes, sir. I just bought a 10.5-acre farm. I'm trying to practice what you preach out here. Got a couple of ducks and quail, which is one gripe I have with you, because I couldn't come up, 4 days of a trip and leave my birds here that I just got. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking for your next expo, maybe we have it in Texas, in my backyard.
I'll tell you what.
I'm not against it, man. I'm not. I'll start prepping now, build the stages, whatever you need.
Man, oh man, that's kind of the thing that we wanted to do. We wanted to find a place that was private, that the blue plague wouldn't show up and bother us,
right?
Because they are a real deterrent. And we say on this broadcast, never call 911. And
right, we don't. We
were at the meetup, and I said to my mom, I just wanted people to know that some of the things I say at home. My mom is in her 90s, and I said, so Mom, what do I say, when I leave the house? She says, oh, don't call the cops. Or no, don't let the cops in. Don't let the cops in. And that's what I say. I say, hey, Mom, I'll be back in a few minutes. I'm going out to check on the cows. Don't let the cops in. And I mean it. Never let the cops in your house, because what'll happen is what happened to Steve Angle,
look at these people who don't have houses and they're sitting on the side of the road. Oh, we're going to walk up and kill. What was this? Started with a K. A homeless man. He just walked up, and the cop said he's literally going to go shoot the guy. It's like,
That's exactly right.
Use non-lethal. Like, it's insane. So you at least need a house to protect yourself from these murderers. I mean, there's no other way to describe it.
You know, I'll tell you what. Sometimes I get a little bit of heat for carrying, not concealed. I have a concealed carry permit, which I never should have gotten. Okay, but now in Missouri, the right to bear arms is unalienable. So you have the right, and there's no age limit. There is no concealed carry necessary. However, the sheriffs think that, some of the old ordinances are still enforceable. Well, according to the Missouri Constitution, anyone can carry a firearm concealed or not in Missouri right now, according to the Missouri Constitution Amendment. Well, when the cops showed up at the Get Prepared Expo, I had my 45 on my side, literally, in the city property. And we rented it. And these two cops were armed too. And, they didn't go for their guns. They really didn't. They went complaining to city management about us to see if they could, bring the full force of the government down on us.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, here's the thing. I was armed, and they were armed. And it's not like it's different. It's different when you're armed because the case of this black man who was shot in the back by the cop, he was running away from the cops. It's like when you do that kind of a thing, you're saying, I don't respect you. I don't respect your alleged authority, and you're running away. And the cop I don't know if he said stop or I'll shoot. I don't know if he said that, but there was no reason to shoot anyway.
It doesn't
right.
matter. No reason.
But what I'm saying is the cops do not like, generally speaking, in my opinion, disrespect. And running away from them, they can't stand that because that's a sign of disrespect. Dr. Shealy, do you think that's the point?
Well, I think it's also a sign of fear. And, they go together in this particular situation.
No, what I mean is the cops look at this guy running away as this man is disrespecting the cops by running away.
Well, that's right. He's not respecting their orders, so to speak.
Right.
And that is correct. But that's not a reason to shoot somebody.
No, I agree.
Well, you could just say they're lazy. I mean, they don't want to chase them.
Yeah, I wouldn't exonerate them with that.
Right.
Oh, I wouldn't either. I still think they should be tarped out and hanged and burned. Maybe even put into slavery. Families they killed, because they took away their son. Like, who's going to pay the bills now? Well, this guy should pay them. I really like
the slavery component of this. So when a cop violates his oath of office to uphold and defend the Constitution of the state and the United States, his state and the United States, breaches the public trust, violates the public trust, okay, commits a crime, I really like slavery. I really do.
Have strong penalties against police who shoot a 50-year-old man in the back without judicial prudence. I mean, this is the type of thing we have to stop in society, or we'll go into a civil war, like you said earlier. Like, it's going to happen.
And then I like the idea. I like the idea of a live video. Where these guys are
in camp. Video, and all it does is make us mad. Like, we saw a guy get shot in the back. How does that help us? Now we just have a video to make us angrier. We're over and we still haven't fixed it. There's nothing that's been done.
Right. Now you were in the armed forces. You are a Marine. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. I was a Marine. I say that.
Okay.
I was a Marine. Yeah.
Okay. Now, many Marines say they are Marines, even though they are not active.
Well, if you go in the Marine Corps and you travel to the wrong state, like you smoke a plant, then they'll take away all your stuff. Or if you have a bad day and do some drugs. Now, I got out honorably, but there are people who've just lost their entire careers, and they're not Marines anymore. Like, what happened to them? Because they smoked some herb, and it's legal in Colorado, but not California. So you can go back where you legally did it and lose your entire career. Like, so that's why I say I'm a former Marine, because there's a lot of people like that. And, yeah.
Okay. Now, tell us about...
yes, sir.
Tell us about the injections that you got. That was a concern to you. Tell us about the depleted uranium. Tell us about the fires that you were in. And let's see if we can get a medical opinion from Dr. Shealy to see if we can help you.
Sure. Okay, I'll start with the scariest experience of my life. I went in and got a bunch of vaccines, of course, like we all do. We line up and get poked. Step forward, poked, both sides. Poked again, get 10 vaccines. We get one in the butt, right on the hip. We call it the peanut butter shot because you got to rub it. It'll spread out. But eventually, a month or two later, I had my urges as a man, and I did them. Well, what came out was blood, and it was the most painful experience of my life. I felt several of my organs, like, grinding, basically. I don't know how to describe it, but it was insane pain. This worst thing I've ever felt. I was over in Iraq, Fallujah, and we had burn pits, and I worked there, and more this is coming out. These are terrible things. I was a forward observer, 861, so I was near a lot of these depleted uranium shells going off. So, 500 yards at times. This stuff got 1,000, yeah. So, for you, Doc, after the break, what can I do to try to, prolong my life for my family before I die in early death at 50? I'll be waiting for that after the break.
Dr. Norman Shealy is with us, and we've got Russ Holding. Russ will be with you in just a couple minutes. Matthew is on with us right now in Texas, and Matthew was exposed to depleted uranium while a Marine and vaccinations, and Matthew would not like to succumb to the effects of depleted uranium. He wants to live the maximum amount of time that he can. Yes.
After I got those vaccines, I should have stated this. I actually got sick as a dog. I went up to 105 fever, and I was on the quarterdeck in the Marine Corps. And if I wouldn't have got the balls to just walk down to medical, getting yelled at by drill instructors saying stay there, then I probably would have died. I had 105 fever. Never had one that high, ever. And that was 3 days after I got those vaccines. Just got to throw that in.
Well,
Matthew, I've heard these stories before, so you're not the only one. Dr. Shealy?
Well, obviously, his immune system is the big thing that has been damaged, and I've written about this many times. On my website, if you go to resources and look under optimal health, there's a big, long section called enhancing immune function. And, it's quite a long thing. I'll be happy to send it to you. If you just send me an email, norm@normshealy.com, I'll copy it and send it to you. But it gives you all the things that I know to help enhance your immune function. And it's a wide variety of things.
Okay. I got resources, optimum health, enhance immune function on normshealy.com.
Yeah, enhancing immune function. Yeah, you can find it there, or I'll be happy to take it up and send it to you as an attachment.
Oh, I'll find it, sir.
Good. Okay. And Matthew, just remember, take care of yourself. It's worth it. I got the impression you're doing that, but I want to
get there. Some days are harder than others, but
right.
Now that I don't have to shoot people in the face or bomb them, it's a lot easier. I can just go out and have some crops and my cat and dog. So nobody join the military, please. My 2 cents.
Thanks, Matthew.
I'm glad you said that, Matthew, because one of our instructors, his name is Jack, has said the same thing. Also was a Marine, and he says, do not enlist, and if you love your children, don't enlist. And class, if you have a child in high school, or you're going to have one in high school, I suggest that you run for the school board office and prevent the military from coming on campus to recruit your children. Yeah, to prevent get on the school board, run for the school board office, and make it known that you absolutely will not agree to letting the military come on campus to recruit your children for target practice. Seriously. And to be beaten by the drill instructors, and to be injected with who knows what.
That's the worst part of it.
And face court-martials. And face court-martial for virtually anything that you do that is voting your conscience. So Matthew, thanks so much for calling.
So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Vincent, I got
thanks so
one more
much
question
for
you.
Yes.
Before we get out of here, you always talk about business aspects and how I can do the tax. Do we have an old podcast, a date that you could give me that I could go through and hear some of these business.
About my thoughts on starting your own business? I'll tell you what.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what.
the tax avenues.
Why don't we do this? John Regan and I are going to be on Monday, and I'll call him and let him know that I'll do for 1 hour or so my presentation, what I did at the Get Prepared Expo about starting your own business. As a matter of fact, one of the, I was on the tractor and I was thinking about a commercial for Guns 80, and Guns 80 is really fun to work with because they're letting me have license to do, almost actually anything I want to do with commercials, and that's where the bug commercial came from. But I'm thinking that I'm going to talk about, getting an AR-15 as part of your security system as a tax deduction. So, we can push the envelope on a lot of these things. I'm not kidding. So I will talk to John Regan. There you go. That's right. And so we'll do that on Monday. So you won't have to go through the archives. We'll make a new broadcast on starting your own business, taking the tax deductions that the rich take. How's that?
I love it. Thank you, Vince. Thank you, Doc. Sorry for taking.
Hey,
Have a good one.
Good day, guys.
Thanks so much. Dr. Norman Shealy is with us, and Russ in Washington will be with us. He's got a question about diabetes. That'll be right after these few short commercial announcements. Dr. Norman Shealy is with us, and if you'd like to go to his website and sign up for his free newsletter, normshealy.com, NORMSHEALY.com. And for you Norm Shealy fans, well, in 1 hour and 25 minutes from now, Dr. Shealy will be on Hay House Radio, hayhouseradio.com, HAYHOUSE radio.com. So for more of Dr. Shealy, an hour and 35 minutes from now, hayhouseradio.com, HAYHOUSE radio.com. Russ from Washington, you're on with Dr. Norman Shealy and me. Welcome.
Hey, what's happening, Vince? This is Les. Talked to you yesterday, remember?
Yeah.
Hey, I did find a good reason to call today. Dr. Shealy was talking a little bit about the numbing effect in person's feet due to calciumated arteries.
Right.
And you were talking about coming to like an expo on that subject, but I'm a little far away for that. But I'm type 2 diabetic, and for the last at least 3 years, the balls of my feet, my toes, predominantly the left side, I have numb feelings. It's kind of like having a pebble in your shoe.
Right. Well, that is very typical of diabetic neuropathy. And really the only thing that I have found that is really good at helping to reverse that is pulsed electromagnetic field therapy. Where do you live?
About 150 miles north of Seattle.
Well, I don't know if they will have it there. Almost certainly in Seattle, there will be somebody doing a PEP therapy. Now, the PEP devices are all over the place. There are dozens of different frequencies that are used. But if you can't find one in the town where you live, you might at least look in Seattle. Pulse electromagnetic field therapy.
Pulse electromagnetic field therapy?
Right. I call it PEMF, PEMF.
Okay. Well, I wrote that down. I'm going to look into it. I was kind of hoping you'd say, well, take another 30,000 units of vitamin D or something.
Well, once a week, I would say 50,000 once a week is certainly good.
Well, I just got off of 150,000 a week.
Well, that's generally, it could lead to problems. So it was temporary because since I've had diabetes, I've had blood work done on it. Right. It's okay to take it temporarily, but long term, 50,000 is about optimal.
Yeah, when I first heard you saying 50,000 a week, I bumped it up 50,000, and a few months later, I went and got blood work done, and my D was still low. I've never had it normal.
Right.
And so the doctor said, well, I'm going to give you a boost, and for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, actually. 3 weeks. I was taking about 140,000 units.
Yeah, that's okay as a temporary thing, yes. But see if you can find some pimps.
Yeah, I'm going to call and find out about that. That sounds interesting. And I appreciate your input. Well, I can think of right now. So
good on you, mate. Love those feet.
Well, yeah, it'd be nice if they kind of went back to normal.
Right.
A little bit.
No, I think it's possible.
Well, I got insurance thanks to Obama ripping me off one way or another. So I can go get it done.
Good.
It'll
Russ.
It'll cost the taxpayers, but I'll do it.
Anything else, Russ?
No,
I'm sorry, Les.
fine. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, thanks a lot, Les. See you.
All right, Vincent. Bye-bye now.
Have a good one.
Bye. Thank you.
All right.
Let's see. We've got Bob from Nebraska. Bob, you're on with Dr. Norm Shealy. Welcome.
Hey, morning, Vincent, Dr. Shealy. Hey, I just want to call and tell you I had a letter written to you that this is the first year my son and I went to the expo, and it was the best one day. We was only able to come down Saturday. We left Omaha, but spent all day down there. He went to one seminar, and I went to others, and we didn't even get near to see half the people we wanted to see, and it was just an eye-opening experience, and it was just a bunch of knowledge that everybody should attend it if they ever get a chance. And if you have one next year, I'm definitely going to make 3 days of it, wherever it is and stuff. So I'm hoping that's possible. And Storm and Norman was wild, and Eric Madsen, I was just listening to talk to that guy, and so much information out there. And I just want to say thank you for everything you did put on and everything, and looking forward to maybe next year.
Terrific.
Well,
thank you.
It's our pleasure, and we certainly would love to have another one. We just have to find a place where the blue plague is at bay. We really don't need their help. Initially, the very first expo we had some gun sales, and we had a lot of ammunition, and because we had so many guns, we thought, well, we probably should have the police there. And we realized right after that there is absolutely no need for us to have the police at any of our events, because as you, Bob, as you noticed, there was no yelling, no screaming, no shoving. I mean, other than Storm and Norman and Mike Ma, other than some of their
Rich
demonstrations.
Yeah, I just wish I could
Other
see
than that,
Dr. Shealy, and everything. Because it's such a wide range of information, and people just need to know this. And it was kind of instead of a doom and gloom, it was just a basic, knowledge and action. It's people need to realize, and just I wish I could have seen, a lot more of your, instructors, but maybe next year. But another question, I was asking, you were talking about police being shooting people, and I'm 56, and I grew up. I had 4 brothers and 2 sisters, and we was always scrapping, getting fights and stuff. And I'm just kind of wondering. I noticed kids nowadays. I know Dr. Shealy was talking about some kind of mental disorder. I think it is, but the way they're being raised up, and I see a lot of that where they not really don't want boys to be boys, and I guess they have fear of somebody wanting to, if they come up to get confronted, and I don't know. I just think that might be part of the problem too.
Very, very interesting point that you've got there, Bob, because when I was growing up, guys would wrestle. We'd play ball. Guys were guys. I mean, there's no question about it. And all male. I mean, the guys are all male, and the girls wore dresses, and they were girls. And there were some tomboys that some of the girls liked doing some of the guys things that guys did, and that was certainly welcome. But now today, if a teacher raises his voice at a student, the parents are outraged. Okay, and that seems to be a problem. However, what these parents don't realize is when they let their children enlist, they are going to be yelled at, screamed at, punched, sucker punched, abused, shot at. They're going to be put in a building, and then the drill instructor will have a respirator on, and CS gas will be deployed, and these guys will just go like, and they'll feel like they're in a second from death.
Yeah,
and that's for their own good, right? And now the question is, they've gotten these injections, they've been exposed to CS gas, they've been sucker punched in the men's room by their drill sergeant just to make sure that they're tough enough. And these are the kinds of things that go on in boot camp. Now, if the parents knew this, there'd be outrage, right? But they don't know. It's kind of funny because I was in the service too. I was in the Air Force, and I got in a little trouble and got in a fight. And this guy called his mom, and she called the base commander at midnight. And I don't know. But anyway, that really hacked my dad off. He was an old ex-Marine, but yeah, it's silly. I don't know why guys can't be men like nowadays. Yeah, but did you have any other questions for Dr. Norman Shealy?
No, that was it, man. And just love your program, and all you guys, all the people you have on. It's just a great program, Ben.
Bob, let me ask you very quickly. Who did you get a chance to meet at the Get Prepared Expo? Do you remember your instructors?
Yeah, it was Eric Madsen, and then the water lady. I can't think of her name. Julie Dollarheight. Got to speak to her, and there was quite a few others that I just stopped by their booths and listened to and stuff, and I just didn't get to all of them, you know. And you know that Judy and John Dollarheight were attacked by the USDA, and they were fined $6 million. You know that, right? Yeah, she said something about that, but she didn't go into it too much. And everything.
Oh yeah, she wrote a book called "Going Down the Multi-Million-Dollar Rabbit Hole," and so what the instructors who were at the expo are all independent thinkers, and they just don't take abuse from the system. And that includes, of course, Dr. Norman Shealy. Did you get a chance to meet him?
No, I didn't. So maybe next time.
Okay. We'll try that. We'll try it again. You know, all we have to do is find that place where we're free from the blue plague. Hey, Bob, thanks so much for calling in.
You bet, Vincent. Thank you. Goodbye.
Have a good one.
Dr. Shealy, on my list is I got an invitation to a get together, and it's from Merciless Hospital, and it's Dear Vincent Finelli. Based on our records, it appears that it's time for you to call and schedule your colonoscopy. Please contact the clinic at your convenience to schedule this visit. Now, Dr. Shealy, this isn't just a visit. This, if you read the list of complications, this could be a near-death or death experience. So when we come back, can you tell me what your thoughts are? Should I have one of these colonoscopies, or should I tell them to take a hike? So, Dr. Shealy, I got this invitation to schedule a visit. Literally, this says, please contact us at your convenience to schedule this visit. Now, this doesn't sound like a visit to me. You know, going to your house, for fun, and that's a visit.
We don't even offer an enema.
This is a near-death experience.
Well, my feeling
isn't that true? Isn't this a near-death experience?
It could be. If you have no bowel symptoms, no tummy problems of any kind, normal bowel movement, I don't think you need a colonoscopy. If you have significant problems with constipation or diarrhea or other bowel problems, then it may well be worthwhile. But as a normal person without trouble in the bowels, I would not do it.
Okay. Fibromyalgia. I've talked to a number of people who say they have fibromyalgia. Can you tell us what it is and what we can do about this?
Well, my guide calls it frozen fear, and that upsets a lot of people. But what it really is the sympathetic nervous system is essentially stuck in overdrive. So your adrenaline is high, and your cortisol production is all over the place wrong. And basically, it's a situation where you have pain in multiple areas of the body, don't sleep well, all kinds of trouble thinking straight, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It is a disturbed thing that occurs almost always after some kind of trauma. It could be a bad viral infection. It could be surgery. It could be an accident. You know, any major life event can put one in that stress situation. My approach to it is, first of all, using the LIST cranial electrical stimulator 1 hour every morning, using the Shealy Relax Mate an hour at bedtime, magnesium lotion, and my essentials and youth formula. If somebody will do that program for 3 months, there's a very, very good chance of stopping fibromyalgia.
Okay, so it's caused by an insult to the body.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And so it could be a an automobile accident. Could it be a traumatic event like the death of a family member, a child?
Yes.
A visual, like even watching like the guy that had the phone who took the video of that cop executing that man by shooting 8 times toward his back and killing him. Could that even trigger fibromyalgia?
Oh, sure. That can be a major stress response.
Wow. And you know, as I think about this, the stressors, you know, people say they're under stress. It's true.
Yep.
It's
all
really
those
true.
Things can certainly do it.
Okay. And I'd like to let our class know that I've gotten so many calls about ProPure water filtration systems. I have not been able to return all the calls. So if you're interested, I can email you the pricing, that kind of thing. Just send me an email at vincent@usaprepares.com. Vincent@usaprepares.com. Include your phone number and I'll call you back. Dr. Shealy, what is up with all of these suicides? There's so many high-profile suicides right now. I've never heard of anything like this except during the first Great Depression. You know, Wall Street, people jumping out of windows and so forth. Do we know?
Well,
Do you know what's causing it?
I think it is the chaos of the world, and of course, often antidepressant drugs. They create a marked increase in the risk of suicide. All of them.
Mm-hmm. So the plan is to not be on those antidepressant drugs.
Exactly.
And if you are on them, get off them. And Dr. Shealy has a post on his website.
Suddenly, though.
Yeah, there's a post on how to do that right on your website, isn't there?
I think there is in the Optimal Health link.
Yeah, I believe there is too. That's normshealy.com, Optimal Health link. Above all, honesty and integrity. What happens next is up to you. Thanks so much, Dr. Shealy.